Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Hashem. You know, the spirit of envy is so strong and prominent in certain segments of our community that it can't be ignored. We can't overlook it, and we can't understate the significance of envy. And when I say envy, I'm talking about not just the idea that, jealousy is maybe I want what you have, or I kind of covet what you have, or I wish I had that. When I say envy, I'm talking about this spirit wherein I don't want you to have what you have. I want to prevent you from being able to enjoy whatever it is that you have worked for or have been given, right? And so this is where I start working overtime to block you and to obstruct you and to somehow diminish your ability to optimize the opportunities and the blessings that are in your reach. Envy is that kind of a spirit. Not that I have a better plan than you, not that I have a better service than you have to offer. It's just that I don't want you to be able to do it. And it's something that I see again and again. Not universally, and it's not really so pervasive, but there's just certain segments of the population that seem to be really entrenched in this spirit of envy. And when I think about the people who I have been the closest to, and who I really know, who have been envious, and I think about the trajectory of our relationships and how I know these people and how we started and what we went through and how, we ended and how things are, it does seem like there's a pattern. And the pattern really, if I could draw an analogy, I like analogies. If I were to draw an analogy, it's like, imagine people who are in jail together, or people who are in the hospital together, right? Or something like that. Two children who are in detention at school together, right? They're suffering some kind of a hardship together, and that's how they meet. And they do the classic trauma bonding, right? We have this struggle, we got this problem, we have this deficiency, there's something that makes us vulnerable, and we need one another. So then we join forces with one another, and we bond through our trauma. And in our minds, and perhaps in our rhetoric, we're talking about the day when we're free. We're talking about the day when we're back on our feet. We're talking about the day when we're healthy and strong. The day when we have enough resources, when poverty is over, when hardship is in, whatever it is, the burden has been lifted. And that's what we're talking about and talking about and talking about. And then, lo and behold, one day, I actually start to get better. And you don't. And then, little by little, it gets more and more apparent that things are improving for me. And so then it's very clear that I'm actually closer to getting out than staying. It's like my days are numbered in this place. I'm going to get out. And then this is where the other person, now starts to get fearful, right? I'm going to be left alone. They start to get, maybe they might start to work hard. They want to do what they can, but for whatever reason, it's not taking hold. They're not getting traction. They're not improving. And so now they start to get a little angry, because why should you get better? Why should you be reformed? Why should you have the opportunity when we were here together? What's the difference between you and me that now you can start to recover? And then that anger can turn to resentment. And so then that resentment will make a person who was once your friend or your partner or your ally become your adversary, your enemy, your opponent. And then this person will start to actively work to prevent you from accomplishing the things that are accessible to you, right? And it's a difficult thing to experience, right? When you're on that receiving end of kind of hate from someone who you know. But if you learn from it, it helps you understand in the bigger picture how lots of people in the broader community who don't know you become triggered by your success. They get triggered by your progress. They get triggered by your recovery. They can see you and recognize something about you that said that this is familiar to me, but somehow, even though you have the same elements, I can tell that you have the same kind of a background that I have, or you're coming from the same sort of a place that I'm coming from. You're doing something that I've only dreamt of doing, right? And without thinking, these folks start to react, and they react and they react and they react until they take stock of what's driving them and start to do something differently. But the reason why I bring this into the conversation is because in our tradition, we have to recognize that it's like they say, the closest people to the doctor are sick people. And so the closest people to the culture, the closest people to the babalawo, the closest people to the Orisha lifestyle are the people who are spiritually sick. They're spiritually compromised. We are spiritually compromised. We are mentally and emotionally compromised. And this is a direct result of our experience here in the West, right? We're captives of war. We were victimized in a very brutal and extreme way for 400 years. And so it makes sense that those of us who are coming back to the culture are coming with some baggage, right? And so you can expect that the people who you can encounter in the culture are going to be, they're going to have some kind of problems that they're trying to rectify. And it's going to be the same in the church, in the mosque, in the hospital, in the psychologist's office, everywhere where people are trying to get recovery. Obviously, they're doing so because they're sick. So I don't mean this to in any way diminish our people. It's just the reality of the situation. Everybody is living a life of recovery. Okay, like they say in Alcoholics Anonymous. Everybody you see in Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, these are people who are in recovery. And so we are in cultural recovery. We are in spiritual recovery. And it's crucial that we all take stock of that, and we recognize some of the patterns of behavior that go with recovery. And on one level, be compassionate with one another. But see, that compassion for one another begins within ourselves. You have to be compassionate with yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. This is where it all begins. Because the same way that you treat your own recovery is the way that you're going to treat other people's recovery. If you're angry and hostile and mean-spirited towards yourself in the recovery process, you were making good progress, and then you committed a mistake. If you start that real aggressive negative talk with yourself, that's exactly how you're going to talk to other people, right? If you're judging yourself and constantly condemning yourself for not being perfect or not meeting certain expectations, then that's exactly how you're going to treat other people. But as you can learn to be patient with yourself, as you can learn to be kind with yourself, as you can learn to be compassionate and empathetic toward yourself, you're going to be able to share that more easily with the people around you. And this is the way that we are able to maintain a standard of excellence, to progress and to accomplish great things in a gentle way, in a kind way, in a humane way, right? And this is what I hope that we can internalize and adopt as a community. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself, right? Be considerate toward yourself. This is essential to being a leader. You can only lead people where you yourself are willing to go. And so you lead with love from the inside out, right? And this is what I'm talking about when I say I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for people who want to change the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, I want you to find out how Obafemi Origunwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com and start getting involved. Start engaging yourself in the content that I have. Let's start the conversation. Let's build a relationship. Let's do the work that will help bring about the good condition for ourselves and the people who we're destined to serve. Bye for now.